For a lot of people, debt doesn't show up all at once. It builds quietly through minimum payments that feel manageable until one day they're not. I've been there, financing things and telling myself that the minimum payment was doable, only later to realize how much pressure that really creates over time. My name is Choncé with badcredit.org, and today I want to talk to you about a company called Freedom Debt Relief. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how debt relief works as well, because this is usually an option that people look into when they're really feeling overwhelmed with their debt and feeling like they have few options. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how Freedom Debt Relief works, the types of fees that they have, the debt accounts that you can have in order to work with them, and also the trade-offs to debt settlement in general so that you can really understand them before you consider working with a company like Freedom Debt Relief. So Freedom Debt Relief is actually one of the largest and oldest debt settlement companies in the US. They've been around since 2002, and they focus mainly on negotiating unsecured debt. So this is things like credit cards, personal loans, and medical bills. This program is also designed for people that are facing real financial hardship, typically with at least $7,500 in debt. And there are also people who can't realistically keep up with those payments anymore. So, how the program works is pretty simple. Once you enroll, you stop paying your creditors directly, and instead you make monthly deposits into a separate savings account that Freedom Debt Relief sets up for you. Then, Freedom Debt Relief uses that money from your dedicated account to negotiate a lump sum settlement with your creditors. Often, the settlement amount that you have to pay is less than what you originally owed. The idea is to help save you some money and pay down that balance faster. So, the leverage there comes from the accounts going delinquent and you not paying those accounts over time. So, during this time, late payments, collection calls, and credit score drops are common. So, those are some of the negative risks when you work with a debt settlement company. And most people do stay in the program for 2 to 4 years. So it doesn't happen right away. It's more of a process. It's also important to know what types of debt Freedom Debt Relief doesn't help you with. They don't lend money, first off, so they're not a lender. And they also do not help with secured debts like a mortgage or certain types of student loans, possibly. This company also does not lower your interest rates on your debt or make payments for you. They mainly negotiate. So the outcomes will depend on what they're able to settle with your creditors. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the cost and the true savings. So there really are no upfront fees when you work with Freedom Debt Relief, but they do charge a 15 to 25% fee of the enrolled debt once a settlement is reached. So you don't have to pay anything until they actually have a settlement agreement and that money actually comes out of your dedicated account that you've been paying into. But still, during this time, interest and fees can build up while your accounts are being unpaid with your creditors. Also, any forgiven debt over $600 may be taxable, so just keep that in mind. When we think about all those implications and all of those things, in real terms, savings often land closer to 25 to 30%, not the headline 50% savings people typically expect when working with a debt settlement company. Now, let's talk a little bit about the benefits of working with Freedom Debt Relief. One of the biggest benefits I see here is to reduce your principal on your debt. It's not about lowering your interest rate. It's actually about reducing the amount that you owe. So that way you can pay off faster. And for many people, having a third party actually handle those negotiations can reduce stress and constant collection calls. Just having someone be the middleman and handle that for you is also a big benefit. What I really liked about Freedom Debt Relief, I like how they have a really nice professional dashboard where you can log in, track your accounts, your savings, and your settlement offers. So you'll know exactly where you are in the process. I also feel like customer support is generally well reviewed by other customers once the negotiations begin, though some people have explained in reviews that the early waiting period when working with this company could be explained a little better, like what's happening through that process when they get started. This company is also a member of the American Fair Credit Council, which sets industry standards. So it's not a guarantee of their credibility, but it's a really good sign. And it just means that they're really taking what their work seriously and who they're helping. I feel like Freedom Debt Relief is a great option for people who are already at the edge financially and maybe they want to avoid bankruptcy. So they're looking for some type of solution that can help them. But it's not a good fit if you still have decent credit or you're able to manage payments or if you have debt that can't be settled, like federal student loans or tax debt, for example. So, as a final verdict, I think that freedom debt relief isn't a shortcut, but for the right person, it can offer structure and direction when options feel limited, when you feel stuck with your debt. So, if you've been barely holding things together, it may be worth exploring this company and working with them. But if you still have alternatives, I'd look into those first. The key is just to go in with clear expectations, understand how debt settlement works, and that way you can decide if it's right for you. So I hope that this video helped you. And if you want to learn more about freedom debt relief, definitely check out the full review that I wrote on badcredit.org.